In Part 1, we saw how to create a 30-day cash flow forecast. We also learned how to turn a negative forecast into a positive one by managing each component that affects cash. The focus of Part 2 is to identify other areas that affect cash, but that precedes all the information in the flash report. This information is just below the flash report and on these other tabs. This is how it works. The business owner anticipates producing $4 million in revenue this year. What this business owner can produce will depend upon his sales process and how many salespeople he has. This requires tracking. You can either have one tab for each salesperson, like we have here, or just one tab that totals all the sales data. Joe's Pipeline tab is an example of one way to track more complicated sales activity when the sales process is long, jobs are large, and may be performed over several months. Each sale is recorded here, and then the revenues for that job are put in the month or months when they will be earned. We generate a running total at the bottom, which tells us what each month's revenues will be from the salesperson. This prepares our production department for what to expect. Sue's Pipeline is an example of how to track a salesperson who is submitting many proposals and has developed a consistent close rate over time. Sue's close rate has averaged 25%, so we put that number here. Then Sue records the dollar amount of every proposal she submits in the month it was submitted. Because we know Sue's close rate, we can know with some certainty what her month's sales will be. To improve our accuracy, we put her actual sales here and track her actual close rate based on all the proposals she submits. If over any period of time we see her close rate is changing, hopefully improving, we change the percentage in her target close rate cell to more accurately forecast future months' revenues. All salespeople's information gets imported into the Flash Report tab into this column. We then put the actual sales into this column to compare how accurately we are forecasting. This column labeled Capacity is what the company is capable of performing in 1 year. Capacity here is anticipated to be about $5,500,000. With this information, we can now see what percentage of capacity his operation is performing at each month. Lastly is a place to record how much overtime is being paid with each pay period. By calculating the average wage of those who get overtime, he can see how overtime is hurting his cash flow. Of course, the goal should be to reduce this number to 0 and to put this money in the bank instead. As we saw in Part 1, it is difficult to improve cash flow when you don't see all that impacts the cash flow cycle. Here, we even see what is impacting the cash flow cycle before it even becomes part of the cash flow cycle, such as his continuity of sales, underutilized capacity, and inefficient use of employees. This flash report is critical for mastering the mystery of cash flow.